Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a new car in the garage, and this is a Mini One 1.4, so it's the PSA engine, and it's got a rather bad oil leak. So let me show you. And you can see that, but there's a lot of oil under there, and it's flicking up onto the radiator. Now, I've checked the sump. Sump's not too bad, so I don't think it's a sump. And the main culprit of these, the Mini suffer from, is the front crankshaft oil seal. You can see in there. So, front crankshaft oil seal. So I've just been to buy one, and that's what we're going to do today. It's not a bad job. Very little tools. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. First thing to do is get the car up on axle stands. Obviously we need to remove, this is the offside front wheel, or driver's side in the UK. To make it easier, we're going to remove this splash guard. So let me just quickly do that. Right, to remove the arch liner, it's probably best to get one of these, like a little trim pull tool and a little screwdriver, or a Phillips screwdriver, as they're held in by these little clips. So you just twist the inside and then pull them out. There's one, what size was that? 10mm, one 10mm bolt underneath the sill. There's one of them underneath the sill, and then you have to pull the arch liner because it's like hooked in on a stud. And also there's one at the top of the arch, don't forget that. And it's probably a good idea while you're here to have a little clean out. Look at all, look, that's what fell out, and look at that, sat in the arch just waiting to rot the arch away. So I shall clean that up later, but back to the matter in hand. Now you have great access to crankshaft pulley. Ugh, look at the oil. So you can see here, it's been flicking oil. This obviously spins round and it just flicks oil everywhere. We've got it down here on this pulley, it's up on here, the alternator's up here, it's all up there, it's all in there in the radiator, and it's all behind there. So what we need to do is to release this belt, and to do that there's a bolt, where is it? Can't see it up there, but there's a tab here you pull to release this. Once it's loose you can remove it, and then it's just these 3 bolts here and the pulley will come off. You can unclip this. This is the aircon pipe. You can clip this out, undo this to give you a bit more access if you need. And there it is. Whoops. Undo this. There's a bolt in there somewhere. So, alright, let's see if we can slacken off the belt. So that spline in the middle of the picture there is a 21mm. You need to get a spanner on there, or the special tool, move it towards the front of the car from the top or from the back of the car from beneath, and that will release the tension off the tensioner, and you'll be able to remove the belt, and you lock it in position with that pin you can see there. Now you either need a special tool or a very, very long spanner, like 500mm long. I have neither, so I'm going to show you a workaround of how I remove this on my own without any special tools. Also note, some models use a different size spline, some are 30mm and some are totally different. Before removing the belt, you need to put the friction pulley into service mode. So you can see this tab I'm putting. You need to pull this all the way out, and then you'll see a little hole in it, and you can just clip it up out of the way, as you can see there. Now the friction wheel is loose, you can move it up and down, and this will give you enough room to remove the belt from the crankshaft pulley. So looking at the top, this is a reference to where this spline is, where you need to put your 21mm spanner. So you can see it's just to the left of the dipstick there, where I'm pointing. Now you cannot do it from the top because there's not enough room. It will basically hit the engine mount and the slam panel. So the only way to do it is to do it from underneath. But then if you're underneath, then you can't lock the pin, which I'm trying to do there, because you physically can't get to it. You need someone to help you. However, I'm going to show you how to do it without a special tool and on your own, so stay tuned. So as I mentioned earlier, you can take the clamp off this aircon pipe. It's just a 10mm bolt. Just take the bolt out and then it just gives you a little bit more wiggle room, so you can get the belt off and the crankshaft pulley out. Right, if we're going to get a spanner from the top, we need to make a bit of room. So first remove the driver's headlight, or the offside front headlight. It's only 4 10mm bolts, so remove that. There's the spline, so we need to get the spanner on there from the top. So what we have to do is remove the slam panel, which I'll show you next. Right, to loosen the slam panel, there's 2 13mm bolts at the top by the windscreen, and then there's obviously the bolt for the headlight and another 10mm underneath, and then you've got 4 Torx bolts, 2 each for the bonnet release, which I'm showing you there. Again, on the other side you've got the same again, so just remove them and then it should be loose enough and you should be able to pull it up and able to get your spanner in there. So once you get your spanner, you need to pull it towards you, i.e. towards the front of the car, and this will release the tension of the belt tensioner, and then you can lock it using the pin as shown. Moving back under the vehicle, you can see now that the belt is loose, so you should be able to just remove this off the crankshaft pulley by pushing the friction wheel out the way, and then remove the belt from the crankshaft pulley and off the alternator as well. A word of warning, do not, I repeat, do not remove the crankshaft bolt. Next it's time to remove the crankshaft pulley. So this is held in by 3 E10 bolts. So you need a special E10 socket to remove these. Once they're removed, you can remove the crankshaft pulley. If the pulley starts to move like it is, as you can see, you can lock it with a screwdriver in place. So once the bolts are removed, you can just grab the crankshaft pulley and give it a pull. It should come off. If it doesn't come off, just give it a few taps with a soft mallet. So looking on the back of the pulley, I can see some oil residue, so it's definitely been leaking, and there's signs of oil on the surface of the crankshaft end as well. So here you can see the seal that's gone. This is what you need to remove. So it's probably best to get like a little pick tool or a small screwdriver and just tease it out. So here's the old crankshaft seal. You'll get a little bit of oil dripping out at the end. Don't worry about that. Just give it a clean before you put the new one in. Make sure all the surface is very clean to get a nice tight seal. So hopefully you won't have to do this job again. Just a quick comparison of the old seal and the new seal. So once the area is nice and clean, grab the new seal and just line it up and just make sure it goes in nice and square. Remove the little plastic cover it comes with, and then what I'm using now is a end of a socket extension. This has got a nice square end. Do not use anything sharp like a screwdriver, and just gently tap it in all the way around until it's flush. Not on camera, but I use a slightly smaller socket extension at the end just to make sure it's slightly nice and all square and seated correctly. Once you're happy that the seal is in correctly, put the pulley back on and put in the 3 E10 bolts, and you need to torque them to 20 pound for your torque. So here you can see I'm using my torque wrench to achieve this. You can see I'm using a screwdriver here to stop the crankshaft from spinning while I'm doing up the bolts. So next you need to put the belt back around the crankshaft pulley and the alternator if you took it off that, and just make sure it's all lined up correctly and it's not overhanging the pulleys at all. And once you're happy that that's all in place and nicely fitted, you can then put the friction wheel tab, locking tab, back in. So just hook it off the little hole where it was and just push it all the way back in. Next I need to re-release the tension from the tensioner. So here I've got my spanner, and you can see I put pressure on that and the locking pin is automatically disengaged. Then just verify the belt is in position correctly and to the right torque. So once you're happy and you've tested it and you can't see any more leaks, next thing to do is put the slam panel back on the grille and put the headlight back in. I just have to repair my headlight because this ripped out, so I put a rib nut in there to hold it in place. all back together now. So the last thing to do, remember to put that aircon clip on. The last thing to do, I've just painted the subframe because they do prone to going rusty. So I'm letting that dry, then I'll put the arch liner back on and the wheel back on and top it up with oil, which I've already done. Check the oil again and then you're done. So thanks for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.